Greetings, programs. Welcome back to ArcNeo Reviews. So, for anyone who remembers, in my 10 bots, 10 hots video I did a while back, link to that in the description because I want my pain and suffering to be worth something. But I said in that video that any of the figures I looked at there were still up for getting a normal video. And today I'm going to actually make good with that and look at one of the figures from that video. So today we're going to be taking a look at Transformers RiD 2015 Optimus Prime. Now, there were actually multiple Optimus Prime figures released in that line, in that size class. This is just the one that I have. I know that others are out there. If I ever stumble across any or whatever, I'll take a look at them. But this one in particular, I really wanted to look at because it's kind of neat and pretty different. So, as you can see, it's just a simple truck, but, it's a deluxe class Optimus that's the entire truck. I know they called it Warrior class, it's deluxe class, whatever. But, yeah, they actually have the whole truck here, trailer and all, for a deluxe figure. It's very obvious how parts of it are going to work. We can just flip them upside down. Part of the feet are still just hanging out right there. Big obvious axe. It's not the cleanest thing, but it is still pretty neat for what it is. He does have 10 actually working wheels. I have to give credit for that because there's too many fake wheels on my Transformers anymore. Like, there's a few times where it's like, yeah, that's a hinge for something to transform. I get that not being a wheel. But so many Optimus figures in particular, like, say it's just the front part here for the vehicle mode, these two will roll, and then these will just be molded slightly smaller so they don't touch the ground, and then they're just in place. So, yeah, props to it actually working. A little bits of detail sculpted in here and there. It is actually a pretty neat figure. Enough waffling on, though. We'll go ahead and actually transform it. First thing you're going to want to do is come back here. You just kind of pull up on the axe. It's got two little notches down there on the handle. They fit down right over there. And there's two notches right here that will slide in right there, right behind the blade. Take a look at the axe itself really quick. Yellow blade, basic dark gunmetal gray plastic for the rest of it. Looks pretty neat, actually. I do like this axe. But after you do that, all you're going to do is come up here to the sides. You're going to grab the smokestacks and use those to fold the sides down and tab them in. That'll form the legs. Let's see here. I haven't done this for a little while, so I'm having to remember on the fly. Go ahead and spin around the hips, untab the legs from each other, get them split out, come up to the top, split the whole front of the vehicle, unpeg the hands from the shoulders, then just, put things in place is kind of the best way to put it. You just swing things around, get them oriented, come here, pull up the head, and eventually it will lock in, at least sort of. But that's all there is to it. There you have Warrior Optimus Prime in his robot mode. And this is a pretty nice Prime, actually. Very simple but effective head sculpt. I do like that they managed to paint the eyes fairly cleanly, because those are some tiny, tiny paint apps for the eyes. They did bother painting the head crest silver. A lot of times that is one of the earlier parts of paint that they skip on these Optimus head sculpts. So, they did the parts that matter. Posability wise, you can shift his shoulders thanks to the transformation joint. You've got a full rotation, ball joint at the elbow, so you get really good range there. Over 90 degree bend, rotation, tilt, all kinds of stuff there. You do have a waist swivel, though it's an off-center one because of how he transforms, so it does look a little weird very quickly. Then you've got I'm trying to be proper with my terms here. I believe it's a universal joint for his hip here, so he can kick forward, can kick back fairly far. Little piece of backpack in the way, but not too bad. Do the full splits. He's got a swivel right there at the thigh. 90 degree bend at the knee. Nothing at the feet or anything. This is just an RiD warrior class figure. Oh, and the head is on a... you can rotate the head, and it can push back down into the back cavity and fall down in. But you can kind of use it to make him look up if you're, like, really careful. I could have sworn it pegged in better than that. I guess I'm just remembering wrong. So, go ahead, give him his axe, and, I mean, that really is all there is to it. It's a very simple figure. Clearly the RiD figures were, it was basically Cyberverse 5 years before Cyberverse, but this guy does get a lot of props for being just a simple, but still really solid figure. It's not bogged down by gimmicks and, weirdness. It's not the most posable thing, but it is still more posable than, 90% of the actual Cyberverse figures that they're doing now. It's okay, Fairly minimal paint, but less paint means less to get chipped. It's got, details where it matters, even if they hang out in the wrong modes a little bit. Overall, it's a simple but fairly fun figure. It's worth picking up if you find it for a couple bucks. You can definitely do a lot worse for Optimus Primes of this general size area. So, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time. But wait, there's more. Yes, greetings from the next day. So, this morning when I went out to get the mail, I found a box from my buddy over at Order 66 Toys down in Texas. Link to them, description. They do awesome online sales and stuff. But in that box was actually another version of the same Optimus Prime. So this is the mass release version of the Power Surge Warrior Optimus Prime. And as you can see, it is definitely a little bit different. There's a new seam here on the front end. We will go over what that's about. Slightly different detailing on the side. Definitely new stuff on top here. So, this figure is really cool. This is actually a big upgrade. I didn't expect it to change so much. In truck mode, worth mentioning, the now unpainted axe. You don't have the spot up here that you used to tab it into. So you do have to tab it in just with the little tabs here on the legs. And I do find that's easier to do this direction. Which, gives it a little bit of a shark fin. But, it's whatever. But, you also have this new little thruster piece, as well as the obvious swords that I pulled off, which also double as wings, which means, yes, you can, if you want, have, flying semi-truck mode, which I would make a joke about this being super stupid and ridiculous, but then I remember one of my favorite figures is the Cybertron leader Optimus, that did the same thing in a slightly different way. But, so yeah, transformation works the same, but there are some remolds and differences to go over here. Obviously, you can see a lot more paint applications all throughout. And when we get the arms out here, you'll see that they've actually changed the way the front bumper works so that the fists are less covered up by the kibble, which is a nice touch, actually. So, go ahead, pop up the head. And this is, again, this is the mass market release of the Power Surge Optimus. There was also a Toys R Us exclusive version that had like a lot more white and some clear blue plastic going on. But, you know, new chest piece. They reworked how these work. And there's actually a new, the inside of these panels for the leg is different. So now you can actually, while it's a little weird, you can actually get the axe to kind of sit down on that little groove. There we go. So he can actually kind of store his axe if he's using the swords, if you want. This little thruster piece does peg in right up here on his shoulders, and then actually the back of it goes right there. But go ahead, give him that. He's got these cool shoulder thrusters. Then just put the swords back on his back. Use them as wings. Be as crazy as you want, you know, give them to him as swords because Optimus Prime needs swords as well as an axe, I guess. So, yeah, I definitely have to say, if you're going to get a version of this, get this version. Really quick, here we have a side-by-side comparison so you can see a lot of pieces on this guy are retooled. There's enough differences here that I don't want to call it a repaint. I'm not even sure if it counts as a remold. It's almost a new figure that happens to share the same engineering. Almost. You know, there's an argument to be made, it's just a retool. Either way, yeah, this version is definitely the superior version. I'd be leery about the Toys R Us version just because of clear plastic, and as well as there's a lot of white paint on clear plastic, which is really prone to flaking off. But yeah, if you come across, I'm going to change my vote here. If you come across this version, get it. This one, if it's under $5, yeah. Otherwise, this one. So much better. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Ending the video for real this time.